Hello everyone, my name is Shashi Walia and I welcome you all on my YouTube channel Curious Physics. So today I am going to start the second chapter of your physics book and the name of the chapter is electrostatic potential and capacitance. Okay, in this particular chapter I want to say before start this chapter number 2, you have to understand that you should know all the concepts of chapter 1. Basically the concept of electric field and basically the concept of field and all the other basic concepts. In case of physics, you have to move forward step by step. So if you want to study chapter 2 properly, or you may say that if you want to understand the chapter 2 properly, there should be the knowledge of chapter 1 properly. Okay, so the chapter is electrostatic potential and capacitance. In this particular chapter, we will study the basic idea of electrostatic potential and how this particular concept is related to the electrostatics, means the charge is not moving. And then after solving all the basic concepts related to electrostatic potential, we will move to electrostatic capacitance. Okay, so before understanding the concept of electrostatic potential, we will study the basic concept of potential energy. Potential energy basically is nothing but it is the, you know that in your previous class, you know that the mechanical energy is of two types. One is potential energy and other one is kinetic energy. And this potential energy and kinetic energy, potential energy is related to the position of the object and this kinetic energy is related to the motion of the object. Okay, in this particular chapter we will deal with the potential energy and from this we will derive the concept of electrostatic potential. So potential energy, what is potential energy? Potential energy basically is amount of work done by a external force stored in a system in the form of potential energy. Are you able to getting my point? This is basically the potential energy. And one more thing, in the previous class you also know that this particular potential energy is defined for conservative forces. And what are these conservative forces? The conservative forces are those forces for which the work done is independent of the path traveled by the object. Or you mean to say that the work done only depends on final position at initial position. Are you able to getting my point? Mean to say that the concept of potential energy is related to the conservative force. If force is not a conservative force, there is no benefit to define the potential energy of a system. One thing is this. Second is there are the conservative forces, you know that the path independence of work done, and in this particular chapter or in this particular electrostatics, the electrostatic force is also a conservative force. Electrostatic force is also a conservative force. Conservative force. Are you able to getting the idea? That's why we are starting the concept of potential energy. And one more thing, the difference of potential energy is useful to us. The difference of potential energy between 2 points is useful to us. To solve the so many problems, the potential energy at a particular point is nothing to give us any benefit, but the difference of potential energy between 2 points is useful to us. For example, in the previous class, in case of gravitational potential energy, you know that if, for example, an object is placed at the surface having mass m and particular height h, you said that the potential energy is mgh. But you define at a particular height h the potential energy is mgh, but in that case you defined at that surface, the potential energy is 0. So before understanding the concept, you have the basic idea that the difference of potential energy is useful to us. Are you able to getting my point? If you have to find the potential energy at a particular point all the time, that it is nothing use of us. So the basic conceptual clarity is, one is work done is independent of path, means the work done by conservative forces and electrostatic force is a conservative force, and the difference is useful to us. Are you able to getting my point? And you can also, for example, you have two charges, one is charge q and other one is charge q. One is capital and other is small, and this is the initial condition. And the distance is, you can say, r2, and the final position is let's say r1. Mean to say that you have to move this particular charge small q from r2 to r1, and let's say this point is p and this point is r. This is initial position and this is final position. Then the work done for moving a charge from r2 to r1 will be stored in this particular system as a potential energy. Then what will be the work done by external force? Here at starting there will be a force of repulsion, because the capital Q and small q have the same polarity. Okay, so if you want to move charge r2 to r1, then you have to apply the external force against the force of repulsion. Then the force of repulsion will be in this direction and force of external force will be of this direction, and r is continuously changing. Then work done will be integration of r2 to r1 F external into delta r. F external is the force, and this force is without acceleration at any moment, and at any moment F external equal to force of repulsion. Mean to say that we are moving this charge small q very slowly, or you can say it is a very slow process. So here the acceleration will be approximately 0. This will be this particular work done will store in the form of potential energy. Potential energy U final minus U initial, this is, and you can say minus F external del R, this is, and R2 to R1. Why this minus sign? Because del R is negative. Del R is negative, and del R is negative means R1 is less than R2. R1 is less than, this is because R1 is less than R2. R1 is less than R2. R1 is less than R2. Are you able to understand my point? This is the basic situation. This particular work done will store in the form of potential energy. If someone asks you a question, what will be the work done by the force of repulsion? Force of repulsion or electrostatic force, then in place of F external, you will place FR. FR, and FR and displacement have the angle 180. 180 because work done is nothing but a dot product of force and displacement. So always remember what is the direction of force and what is the direction of displacement. In case of F external, you can write this as Fs cos theta, and in case of X external, theta is equal to 0 degree, and in case of force of repulsion, theta is equal to 180 because force of repulsion is towards away and displacement toward the bigger charge. This is basically the concept of potential energy. This is basically the revision. The first few minutes are basically the revision of class +1 of class 11, where you have studied the concept of potential energy. And for this particular chapter, the concept of potential energy is very, very important. You should have the basic conceptual clarity why we use the concept of potential energy, why we have used the concept of potential energy. Next is, this is basically the what we have studied. This is the theory portion. Path independence of work. The work done by an electrostatic field in moving a charge between 2 points depends only on the initial and the final position of the charge and not on the path taken. Okay, and because electrostatic force is a conservative force. Potential energy difference is defined in terms of work. The actual value of potential energy is not physically meaningful. Only the difference of potential energy is meaningful. Only the difference of the potential energy is meaningful. Are you able to understand my point? Okay. Next is the concept of electrostatic potential. Electrostatic potential. Electrostatic potential is the amount of work done in bringing a unit positive charge from infinity to that point in the electric field without any acceleration. So here we have defined, for example, you can relate this particular term with electric field. They both are not the same, but at that particular point we have defined electric field as force per unit charge. And if you know the electric field at a particular point, then you can say that what will be the force experienced by a charge when that particular charge is placed in that particular electric field. So same here, electrostatic potential is defined as work done, it is denoted by V, and work done per unit charge. This is the basic formula. Units are volt. And in so many cases it is treated as V. This is the simple, but the conceptual clarity is, and also work done is change in potential energy. We have studied earlier what will be the work done? Change in potential energy. For example, one charge is Q1, other charge is Q2, and this particular charge, the distance between two charges will be, for example, r, then you have to find the potential, electrostatic potential of this particular charge q1 at point P, you can say that. Okay, so you have to say, if this charge is at infinity, its potential energy is considered as zero, then for example infinity point is at r, you can say infinity point is at infinity, then the potential of the work done of this charge q2 will be, work done to move this charge q2 at distance r will be change in potential energy. You can say up minus ur. This is the work done, and this work done per unit, charge, this q2 is equal to up minus ur divided by q2 is the potential, but the condition is potential energy at infinity is equal to zero, or you can say potential at particular point at infinity, same at infinity is equal to zero. Are you able to understand my point? So change in potential energy and work done per unit charge, it is the amount of work done which you have spent to moving that particular charge from infinity to that point is known as potential. This particular idea, the whole idea, we will discuss again. This may be a bit confusing, but in this particular point, you should know the basic idea, work done per unit charge, or work done is also known as or equal to change in potential energy. So change in potential energy divided by charge per unit charge is equal to potential, Okay. Next is potential due to a point charge. So for example, this is charge q1, this is charge q, for example, and here is charge q is placed, or q1 is placed. Okay, initial condition, you may say that this is point P and this is point R. This distance you can say RP, RR, and this distance is RP. Okay, and if you want to move here the external force will be toward inward direction, F external, because if you move the charge small q from P to R, then you have to apply the external force towards the bigger charge, because you have to apply the force against the force of repulsion, and in this direction there will be force of repulsion. Okay, are you able to getting my point? Then, and R is continuously changing. Because you have to move charge P to R. Then the distance between charges, for example, if you in one situation you have to move a charge in this particular place, then the force will be something else. And if the charge at here, then the force will be something else, because according to Coulomb's law, force of repulsion will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q divided by r square, and r is continuously changing. So For example, so I have taken the small amount of work done to move a small distance, and that will be F external into dr, and F external will be equal to force of repulsion 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Charges are q by r square into dr is dr. Then dw by q charge is equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught capital Q small q, sorry, now we can remove this q, dr. Okay, this is the small potential, difference, and this will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q dr by r square. If you want to know the value of exact potential difference between R and P, then you have to integrate this, and this particular value there is negative Rp2 Rp2 Rr Q dr 4 pi epsilon naught r square. And why this negative? Because dr is decreasing. Are you able to understand my point? So if you integrate this, then minus q by 4 pi epsilon naught constant, and you will integrate 1 by r square dr, and the integration from Rp2 Rr. After integration you will get 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, and integration will be r raised to power minus 2 plus 1 divided by minus 2 plus 1 Rp2 Rr. This is the basic integration formula of 1 by x square dx is equal to x raised to power minus 2 plus 1 minus 2 plus 1. Okay, then simple, you can say that minus, then minus plus q 4 pi epsilon naught 1 by Rr minus 1 by Rp. This is the potential difference between V at point R minus V at point P. This is basically the exact formula. But as we know that potential and potential energy, potential is potential energy per unit charge. If potential energy, for our benefit, we define the potential energy difference is beneficial for us. So here you have to say at one particular point this potential should be 0. At we consider Rp at infinity, Vp is equal to 0. This is exactly not 0. For to make our you can say that to make this particular situation more impactful, we make the Rp is at infinity, because in definition we said that what is potential? Potential is the amount of work done per unit charge to moving from infinity to that particular point. So this potential become q by 4 pi epsilon naught into r. Or if that particular point is a simple at a distance r, then potential can be written as q by 4 pi epsilon naught. this is the formula which you will study, but you should know that how we have solved this particular problem. We have considered that potential at infinity is zero, because the difference of potential or potential energy is useful for us, not potential at a particular point. So this formula is potential at a particular point is q by 4 pi epsilon naught r, but potential at infinity is zero. Potential at infinity is zero. So are you able to understand? So this is how to find the potential due to a point charge. Its value will be, it should be always be in your mind, it will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r. And one more thing, potential is a scalar quantity. Potential is a scalar quantity, and its counterpart is electric field in first chapter, and that will be a vector quantity. So if you solve the questions related to electric field, you have to follow the laws of vector addition. But if you want to solve the questions of potential, you have to simply just solve it by the simple algebra. Okay, so next is the relation of potential and electric field. Electric field varies, is directly proportional to 1 by r square, and potential is directly proportional to 1 by r, is 1 by r, and electric field is directly proportional to 1 by r square. Are you able to getting my point? And one more thing, but this formula always should be in your mind, 4 pi epsilon naught r, 4 pi epsilon naught r. R is the distance from the charge. Are you able to getting my point? Okay, but the condition is potential at infinity is zero. Potential at infinity is zero. Okay, next is calculate the potential at a point P due to a charge. Simply you should here use the formula potential at point P, which is at a distance 9 centimeter. Then it will be q 4 into 10 raised to power minus 7 divided by 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, and that 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught value will be 9 into 10 raised to power 9, and value r 9 into 10 raised to power minus 2. And after solving this potential at a particular, you will get 4 into 10 raised to power 4 volt. 4 into 10 raised to power 4 volt. Second, hence obtain the work done in bringing a charge 2 into 10 raised to power minus coulomb from infinity to point P. And you know that work done, second case, work done per unit charge is equal to potential. So work done will be Vp 4 into 10 raised to power 4 and Q 2 into 10 raised to power minus 9. This potential is in volt, and then in this case you will get the answer 8 into 10 raised to power minus 5. 8 into 10 raised to power minus 5 joule. Okay, the simple formula based, but the conceptual clarity should be there. The questions are very easy, but the conceptual clarity should be there. Okay, are you able to understand my point? Okay. Next is potential due to a electric dipole. You remember what is electric dipole? Electric dipole is consist of two equal and opposite charges separated by a small distance. Separated by a small distance. In the first chapter, let's consider, for example, two charges are, one is plus and yes, and these two charges, let this distance, then this distance is 2a. This is plus q and this is minus q. So we have also defined a term, and that particular the term was electric dipole moment denoted by P, and is equal to, is always from minus to positive charge. So P will be in this direction and its value will be magnitude of charge and multiply by distance. You already know that. In this particular case, you have to find the, let's say a point P, or you can say point A, because P is also defined as, let's point A, and this point is r units away from this particular center O, you can say that. Okay, and this angle is theta. this angle is theta, and this particular point is also r1 units away from positive charge and r2 units from this negative charge. Now you have to find the potential to this particular dipole. Okay, so I said the potential is a scalar quantity, so you have to just add the potential due to from this both the charges at A. So potential at A will be K, you can say K, or 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. One charge is Q, or you can say that Q by R1 is R1 minus Q by R2. This is the net potential due to positive and negative charge at particular point A. I have just simply added the potentials by individual charges. Then you can also say that VA is equal to Q 4 pi epsilon naught 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. This is basically the net potential at A. But here the situation is you have to find the answer in terms of R. So it is our responsibility to convert 1 by R1 and 1 by R2 in the form of R. If this is R, and let's say if I can connected these points, then I have to my basic responsibility to convert 1 by R1 and 1 by R2 in the form of R. So R1 square is R1 square from this Pythagoras triangle 1. R1 square is this square plus this square, and this is r sine theta. Okay, this is r sine theta, and this value is r cos theta minus a. R cos theta, this value is total is r cos theta, origin to this particular point, let's say B, let's say minus, and then minus a, because half distance is a. If total is 2a, then r1 square according to Pythagoras I can write r cos theta minus a whole square plus r sin theta whole square. Okay, now I can open this, then I will get r square cos square theta plus a square minus 2ar cos theta plus r square sin square theta. The simple math, I have just open the bracket, then r square cos square theta plus sin square theta is 1, so that's why r square, and plus a square minus 2ar cos theta. This is the value of r1 square. We have started the r concept with r1 square. After that I have taken r square common, then 1 plus a square by r square minus 2a by I can say 2a by r cos theta. And in this particular scenario the assumption is r is very greater than a. R is very greater than a. If r is very greater than a, then a square by r square is nearly approximately equal to 0, and this term you can delete this term. So we will get r square 1 minus 2a by r cos theta. Are you able to getting my point? Okay, and r1 is equal to, now r1 is equal to under root अंडर रूट r स्क्वायर 1 माइनस 2a बाय r cos थीटा. r स्क्वायर का 1 r will come out, then r and 1 minus 2a raised to power 1 by 2. Now 1 by r1 will be, whole term will come in denominator 1 by r, and this will become minus 1 by 2. है ना, as you know 1 by a, for 1 by a I can write it as a raised to power minus 1. So this is same here. Okay, now according to binomial theorem, if r is very greater than a, then I can write this term 1 by r into, directly multiply 1 by 2 inside, then I will get 2a cos theta. You have to write here cos theta. Missed it out. Here you have to write cos theta. Here also cos theta. 1 minus plus 2. You have to write 1 by 2 into 2a by r cos theta. This simply you have just multiplied the power minus 1 by 2 with this particular 2a by r cos theta. Then this will become 1 by r 1 plus a by r cos theta. This is the value of 1 by r1. This is the basic aim. You have find the value of 1 by r. For example, this is equation 1. Now again in similar cases 1 by r2 will be 1 by r 1 minus a by r into cos theta. Now put the value of 1 by r1 and 1 by r2 in equation 1. Now put the value of 1 by in equation 1. You will get potential will be equal to 1 q 4 pi epsilon naught r 1 plus 1 by r1 cos theta minus 1 minus plus a by r cos theta. I have just replaced 1 by r1 and 1 by r2 in that particular equation. These will cut each other and you will get q by 4 pi epsilon naught r and 2a by r cos theta. 2a by r cos theta, and this will become 2qa cos theta divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r square, and the 2qa is the value of 2qa is the value of P, is the value of dipole electric moment. This is P cos theta divided by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. Are you able to understand my point? And cos theta, P cos theta, you can write r 4 pi epsilon naught r square, and this r means cos theta. It show the direction of unit vector towards point P, okay, and the value of P is 2qa. Here the basic concept is, for a particular point the potential is directly proportional to 1 by r, but for a dipole potential is directly proportional to 1 by r square. In the previous chapter you have studied that electric field for a dipole for a particular point charge is directly proportional to 1 by r, but for a 1 by r square, and for a dipole it is 1 by r cube, 1 by r cube. So this is the potential at a particular point due to a dipole, I can ask you for the axis, for the axial line at a distance, for you can find by yourself, for axial point at a distance r, theta is equal to 0, and the potential will comes out to be P by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. But for equatorial plane, for equatorial plane, theta is 0. For equatorial plane, I can write here, for equatorial plane, theta is, here theta is 0 and equatorial plane theta is 90, and that particular equatorial plane potential will be 0. This is very easy to understand. At this particular first chapter we have discussed that electric field on the axis and on the equatorial plane, but here you will find the potential only in the equatorial, only in the axial line, along the line, but on an equatorial plane potential will be 0 because theta is 0, theta is 90 degree. Okay, so the potential due to a dipole depends on both the distance r and the angle between the position vector r and the dipole moment vector P, that means cos theta or theta. It is axially symmetric about P, rotating r about P with the same angle theta, keep the potential constant. Or at large distances, the electric dipole potential decreases at 1 by r square, because in case of dipole we have took the assumption that A is very less than r, unlike the potential due to a single charge which is decreases at 1 by r. Okay, this is basically in theory part. Potential due to a system of charges is one of the simplest case, but for our understanding, potential due to a system of charges, for example, P is the point and so many charges, for example, this is Q1, this is Q2, and this is Q3. This is R1P, R2P and R3P. As I said, potential is a scalar quantity. So at a particular point P, net potential will be simply algebraic sum of potential due to all the charges. So the net potential at P is equal to Q1, or you can say 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 by R1P plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q2 by R2P plus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q3 divided by R3P is simply the algebraic sum of all the charges. I can take n number of charges. It is simply the potential at a particular point is the algebraic sum of all the potentials due to all the charges present in the system. Are you able to understand my point? Okay, it is the simplest case. You have to simply add all the potentials. This is the potential due to Q1, this is due to Q2 and this is due to Q3. Next is potential inside a conducting thin spherical shell. If, for example, this is a spherical shell, let's say its radius is r, and if this is a thin spherical conducting shell, and let's say the Q charge, it has a Q charge, positive Q charge, then this Q charge will be distributed on its surface. on its surface. Then what, first of all, outside, let's say at distance r, at outside let distance r, what will be the electric field? Electric field will be, for outside point, this particular charge will act as a point charge, then electric field will be kq by r square. K will be 1 by 4 by epsilon naught. This you know that. And if we move inside this spherical shell, there is any charge or not? There will be no charge. Q in is equal to 0 because all the charge distributed on the surface. If Q in is 0, then according to the Gauss law, and we have already discussed in chapter 1, in the for example, in case of application of Gauss law, the electric field is 0. Electric field is 0. And potential is defined as amount of work done per unit charge. If potential is defined as the work done per unit charge, what is that work done? That work done is related to the work done against the electrostatic force. Means to say that if there is electric field, there will be electrostatic force, but inside this particular spherical shell there is no electric field, and if there is no electric field, there will be no electrostatic force. So if there is no electric force, then F external will also be 0 and work done is also 0. If work done is 0, then potential difference between any 2 points inside the shell is 0. If potential difference inside the shell is 0 because work done is 0, mean to say that if you want to move a particular charge inside the shell and there is no electric field, then work done is 0, means potential difference, your delta V is equal to 0, and V1 V2 you can say is equal to 0, and V1 is equal to V2 is equal to C, means constant, where inside the spherical, always remain inside the spherical shell. Due to the absence of electric field, there is no requirement of F external force to move a charge, because potential is defined for work done per unit charge, work done against the electrostatic force. But there is no electric field, no external force is required. So inside the shell, the potential will be constant and its value always equal to the potential at the surface, and the potential inside this spherical shell will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q by R, and R is the radius of the shell. Always remember all these points. This kind of question can be asked in a multiple choice, and this is also very important for the, you can say that, for your conceptual clarity. I hope, are you getting my point? You are able to understand the basic concepts. Okay. Next is two charges 3 and this are located 15 centimeter apart. At what point on the line joining the two charges the electric potential is 0? Take the potential at infinity is 0. Last point to make you understand that we have take the potential at infinity as 0 as the assumption, and for example two charges are, one is 3 into 10 raised to power minus 8 coulomb and other one is minus 2 into 10 raised to power minus 8, and this one is the distance, let's say 15 centimeter. Okay, so first case you can say that if you move away from the charge, potential will decrease. Okay, so if I want to make for your conceptual clarity, this particular point never come left of the bigger charge, or left of this not a correct word, come nearby the bigger charge. It will only come between the charges or nearby the smaller charge. Mean to say that this particular point of zero potential never comes in this region, because anywhere between this region the domination is of this charge. Always remember these points. First case, let's the point is between these two charges. Let's say this distance is x, then this distance is 15 minus x. This distance is 15 minus x. Then at particular point O, potential due to this bigger charges, or you can say the net potential is K. You can say 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, charge is 3 into 10 raised to power minus 8 divided by x, minus 2 into 10 raised to power minus 8. This is common, and this is okay. We can also write here 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 2 into 10 raised to power minus 8 divided by 15 minus x, then is equal to 0, because the net potential will be 0. Then all the terms, this will go, then you will get 3 by x minus 2 by 15 minus x is equal to 0. Then 3 by x is just a simple math, is equal to 2 by 15 by minus x. After cross multiplication, 45 minus 3x is equal to 2x. Then 45 is equal to 5x, and x is equal to 9 centimeter. X is equal to 9 centimeter. You will get a 0.9 centimeter from the charge 3 into 10 raised to power minus 8, at 9 centimeter from this positive charge and 6 centimeter from this negative charge. You will get the point of zero potential. In second case, and as discussed above, the second case, the point will always be nearby the smaller charge. So bigger charge is 3 into 10 raised to power minus 8, and distance is 15, and this charge is minus 2 into minus this charge is, I should make it somewhat clear. Second case is, let's say this is the distance of 15 centimeter, this is 3 into 10 raised to power minus 8, and this is minus 2 into 10 raised to power minus 8, and let's say this point is x centimeter from the smaller charge, this point of zero potential, and this point will never come nearby the larger charge. You can try to solve at the point nearer to 3 into 10 raised to power minus 8, you will never get a proper answer. For here, for this positive charge, the potential will be 3 into 10 raised to power minus 8, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, net potential at this particular point O divided by R, 15 plus x, minus 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 2 into 10 raised to power minus 8 divided by x. is equal to 0. Then you will get only with 3 by 15 plus x is equal to 2 by x. After cross multiplication, 3x is equal to 30 plus 2x. Then I think x you will get x is equal to 30 centimeter. You can check the calculations. I have made some mistake. 15 plus x, 3x, 30 plus 2x. Then according to me, what mistake I have done? X is 30 centimeter from here. Then from the larger charge, the distance is 45 centimeter. You can choose what is where you have. So from larger charge, if this is 30, then this is 15. Then the distance from larger charge, or bigger charge will be 45 centimeter. Always remember this particular point. You will never get a point of zero potential nearby the larger charge. This particular question is very important for your conceptual clarity. Very important for your conceptual clarity. The question is, this particular figure A and B shows the field lines of a positive and negative point charges respectively. Give the signs of potential Vp minus Vq. This particular P point is at distance R1 and Q at R2. Same way, you can say that A point is at R1 and B point is at R2, and R2 is greater than R1, and here again R2 is greater than R1. Okay, first question is, give the sign of potential difference. If this particular charge is positive, let's say it's Q1, and negative charge is, you can say it's Q2. First, Vp minus Vq. First case is you can say Vp minus, first case for example, Vp minus Vq. Vp is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Vp, if charge is positive, then Q1 by R1 minus Q1 by R2. This is Vp and this is Vq. Then if R2 is greater than, if Q1 is common, then value will be Q1 by 4 pi epsilon naught 1 by R1 minus 1 by R2. Then this number comes out to be positive. Because R2 is greater than R1. Okay. Same this way, Vb minus Vq. Here the charge is negative. So Q2 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Vb means 1 by R2 minus 1 by R1. This is negative, and this particular value will comes out to be negative again. R2 is greater than R1. This will small, 1 by R2 is small as compared to 1 by R1, then negative, you will again get the answer positive. Next question, same B part. Give the sign of potential energy difference of a small negative charge between the point Q and P. Potential energy will be small charge. Here the small charge is Q. Let's say small charge is Q, negative charge, and you have the potential difference VQ minus VP. Okay, then VQ minus Q, V charge is same, for example Q1, then VQ will be 1 by K. Here you can write again this I forgot to write, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught, and value is VQ for 1 by R2 minus 1 by R1, and again R2 is greater than R1, so this value will come out to be negative, 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 positive. Answer will be positive. Okay, same, the next is A to B. A to B, charge is again negative, charge is potential energy. Second part, let's say here the negative charge, this is the charge into potential energy, here the potential energy is charge into potential difference, again minus Q1, and A to B, VA 1 minus R1 minus 1 by R2 into 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. This value comes out to be positive, and this is minus minus positive. The answer will be positive. Answer will be positive. The basic understanding should be there. What is written between the lines? This particular 5 questions are very important, very important for your understanding, Next is C. Give the sign of work done by the field in moving a small positive charge from Q to P. Q to P. Here the question is, you have to move the charge from Q to P, and work done by field. You mean to say that work done by electric field, work done by electrostatic force, and here the electrostatic force is you have to move a small positive charge. So force in this direction away, and you have to move charge from Q to P. Then force of repulsion is outward and displacement is towards center. Then the theta is Fs cos theta is 180. Fs, amount of work done, is negative. In C case, work done is force of repulsion into, you can say, displacement Q to P, and cos of 180, and cos of 180 is negative, so it will give an answer negative. Cos of 180 minus 1. And D part is, give the sign of work done by an external agency. Now the work done by external agency moving a small negative charge, and now small negative charge from B to A. If you move to, and here again the force is repulsion, so here again you will get I think small negative charge from B to A. If you move to small negative charge from B to A, then again the force of repulsion, direction of force of repulsion is this, and displacement in this direction, and displacement in this direction. So the again you will get the negative, you will get, as far as everything work done by, okay, here the work done by external force. So external force will be towards against the F external, and the displacement here not positive, you will get F external into S to cos 0. Force of attraction external will be against the force of repulsion, means to the angle between displacement and external force is 0, then that's why the answer will become positive. Answer will become positive. And the last one is, does the kinetic energy of a small negative charge increase or decrease in going from B to A? If you go from B to A, then potential energy will increase. Why? Because potential energy is equal to Q into potential, and potential means the potential energy will increase. The potential energy will increase. Why? Because potential will increase, because R will decrease, that's why kinetic energy will decrease. If kinetic energy will decrease, then velocity will decrease. Because potential energy plus kinetic energy is equal to constant. Total energy is conserved. Potential energy plus kinetic energy is constant. Are you able to understand my point? So that's why if potential energy will increase, then kinetic energy will, it has to decrease. It has to decrease. Okay, so that's all about part 1. Okay, I hope you are understanding my all the points. So that's all from my side. So okay, we'll see you soon with lecture 2 or part 2 of this chapter. So thank you so much. Take care. Bye bye.